Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia coming to you once again with another episode of Age of Heroes, my podcast. And today I want to discuss the Game Awards that happened last night at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, the 2018 Game Awards. And this is the fifth one. And of course, there was a full list of nominees. And of course, there are winners and there are losers. And there were some trailers, some reveals, some cool stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that happened last night. I did not have the chance to really to watch the entirety of the show. Of course, this is California time when that happens, and I'm on the East Coast. So I was a long day at work, so I just watched some excerpts of the whole show. It's hard for me to kind of concentrate on one show and just keep watching it, the entirety of it, because sometimes some things are kind of awkward, and some of the stuff I just don't care much about. So I just simply let it go, and I did some gaming, and I watched some of it. And of course, I went to bed. So this morning, of course, I got the chance to go through some of the videos. I know today we're gonna watch a lot of videos. Gonna be a lot of videos on YouTube in regards to it. A lot of reactions. A lot of trailers are gonna be. There's gonna be a lot of talk. And of course, there was Twitter last night went crazy because of some of the winners and some of the losers. Of course, some people are really butthurt about the whole situation. As always, it's not everyone is going to be happy about the results. So let's go through the list, of course. And the one that really, the big one of the night, and the one that everyone wants to see, which is the Game of the Year. And of course, there were some, heavy contenders here. Some that I didn't know why they were here, but ultimately it was God of War that took the mantle. It took the big trophy of the night and took over, of course, Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2, which a lot of people they feel that Red Dead got robbed last night because of it. To be honest, God of War is a phenomenal game. Visually, aesthetically, the mechanics. It's a great game. I'm not saying that it is not. I was really surprised that Red Dead Redemption didn't take that. I think the Red Dead Redemption, in my opinion, it's a much better game overall because everything that is included here is so much in this package. So I was really surprised that it didn't make the cut. Of course, the way the awards are set up, there is a committee that actually chooses different outlets that they actually do the voting and also do the nomination and then the voting. And then, of course, they allow, of course, the public to do some voting through those different outlets. So I don't know. It seems that the God of War fans, actually were the ones that were more, I don't know, they took into these polls and they did the voting. And I don't know how many times a person can vote through the different outlets, and people can repeat their votes. You never know. So it's just kind of weird the way it happens. But I'm not going to speculate here. I'm just saying it's just weird. It feels that Red Dead Redemption should have taken that. I think it's a much better game than God of War, even though God of War is a phenomenal story, a more concise story. It's a good game. Of course, some people might disagree with me on this matter, but it happens. So now God of War is the Game of the Year for 2018. They had a best ongoing game, and that was, of course, and through all the competitions, primarily a lot of anything that has to do with multiplayer stuff, multiplayer stories. And of course, Fortnite was the winner, which it's kind of expected. I think, Fortnite has taken the gaming industry by storm, so it's a game that is constantly evolving, and they adding more DLC, and it's a monster, and there's pretty much in gaming right now. There's has some millions and millions of fans and followers, so it was expected that people will vote over Destiny 2, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, and the rest. So, I think it was expected. Best game direction, again, God of War took over Marvel Spider-Man. I think it was a great story, well directed. I think it was okay. But it also took over Marvel Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2 again. Now, on the best narrative, we all have Red Dead Redemption 2. this kind of go alongside with the game direction. So I don't know exactly why they trying to do. It was Red Dead Redemption 2, the one that took on this one. So that means the best story, the story, the way kind of goes along. I don't know. In my opinion, I think, the game direction, I would have actually swiped this. I would have said that the game direction, I think, I would actually give it to Spider-Man. And the narrative, I would have given it to God of War. I think the story is more concise on God of War than it is for Red Dead Redemption, of course, because there's so much stuff going on there. Now, best art direction. And this one was a new one that I didn't even know. This game is Return of Obra I don't even know this game. I don't know. It's kind of weird when an indie game takes over others. Personally, I think one of the most beautiful games of this year, it was Assassin's Creed Odyssey was part of this. I like the art in Assassin's Creed. So I feel that Assassin's Creed got robbed on this one, but I don't know who voted for Obra Dinn. Now you had the best score music, and this went to Red Dead Redemption 2, and I think that was good. I think Red Dead Redemption has a great score. The music soundtrack, as the first one did, I think it was a much better thing. So it was Woody Jackson, then the score and the soundtrack of this. I think it was the right choice. We also have best audio design. And this one, of course, went to Red Dead Redemption 2. And again, I think that was well-deserved. I think Red Dead Redemption won in so many different categories, but didn't win on the one that really matter in the end, or the big one. Now you have best performance, and you have Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan on Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, another category, but that it beat Christopher Judge as Kratos of God of War and Melisande Mahut as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed. So this one, of course, is another win for Red Dead Redemption. Now, games for impact, Celeste, which it's an indie game that has done a lot of great things. I think it was good. I think that was not a bad choice. I think Celeste surprised a lot of people. I really don't know much about Celeste. I've seen some of the trailers and some of the reviews, but it's not, it's an pretty much it's a platform game. You have some, cool ideas and cool art design and style. I'm glad that indie games can win this type of impact, and also in the stories that they present. So it's good. So this one I think was well deserved. Now, and best independent game also again was Celeste, and won over Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return to Obra Dinn, and The Messenger. So I think Celeste win this one, which is good. Now, best debut indie game, that was for The Messenger. I really don't know much about it. There were not really that many different indie. There's so many indie games nowadays that it's hard to keep up with all of them. So I really don't know much about this one. So if people say that that's the best debut for an indie game, by all means. Now with a mobile game, Florence, which also I do not know much about it. That was the winner and took even over Fortnite, which is interesting. So this kind of throws me off a little bit, because if Fortnite, which is such a monster, everywhere. And even PUBG Mobile, they were also in this category. With a game like Florence, which is an indie game, is able to take over those two games. There's something fishy about this. And this is the part where you start seeing some of the things here where are not really adding up. If this is a popularity contest and people are allowed to vote, how is it that some games are taking over when it's clearly that some games are more popular than others, at least in my opinion? Unless the same people are voting in different platforms, or these companies are actually sending their own, followers to do it. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Now, the best VR game, which nobody really cares about nowadays. I don't care about VR. Astrobot Rescue Mission, which won, and this is SIE Japan Studio was the winner. Other games that I really didn't care much about. Well, good for people that love VR. Now, this action game, this is the one, Dead Cells. This is another one that I was really surprised. I think Dead Cells took a lot of. It's a great game. I'm not saying that it's not. But there was some, if you remember, there was some controversy, and I mentioned this in a video some months ago, when IGN was found one of the reviewers at IGN actually copy the review of someone else online, and they became such a huge, kind of news here in YouTube, and a lot of people were talking about this, and there was a lot of arguments about it, and they fired that reviewer, and of course Dead Cells was that game that was reviewed, and of course that brought a lot of people into this game. Phenomenal game, great game. I'm not saying that, but it's not the perfect game. Now in action games, of course, that took over Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, Mega Man 11. I'm really surprised that this game won. So, because to be honest, Call of Duty is such a monster, and I'm surprised that Call of Duty wasn't really into much of these games or into a lot of these categories. Didn't really have too many to vote, and yes, Call of Duty, yes, a lot of people hate Call of Duty, because of a lot of reasons, whether, it's repetition, or whether we always get the same game time and time again. And actually, I was playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 4 last night. It's the same old, but it is a juggernaut, with a lot of people follow it. The fact that, there was no many, categories where, Call of Duty was there, that it really kind of rubs things the wrong way. It kind of makes you think that in reality, who is the one voting, who is chosen these categories in the end. If it makes you feel that it's some part of this is kind of rigged, particularly with the all the nominees are chosen by a committee that actually chooses, well, not the committee, because the committee chooses the different other groups or mostly news outlets into the gaming industry for them to do the nominations. So ultimately, there's a lot of, some things that make you wonder who is the one actually chosen this, particularly with some of these news outlets. They have some ties with some of these companies and corporations that sell these games. So, it's just, something that goes beyond me. Now, best action adventure game. Again, God of War took over. My opinion, I would have given this to Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is I like the experience. And also, people might disagree with me, but I really love Spider-Man. I felt that Spider-Man also at least should have won something. Even Shadow of the Tomb Raider didn't pass the test in this category. Now, best role-playing game. This was given. You have Dragon Quest, one of the nominees, but this was given for Monster Hunter World. Actually, a friend of mine asked me if I played Monster Hunter World just recently. He said that he played that game, but none of his I think friends or close friends or family play it, so he was looking for someone to partner. And unfortunately, and I'm not going to give you the name here, but unfortunately, I don't play Monster Hunter World. I've never been an RPG type of fan, so I have played some of the games, but I'm not really a fan. I think, going through the list, and I see some games here that I really don't care about, but I think Monster Hunter World Monster Hunter is a huge franchise. And I think Capcom has done great. And I saw some of the reviews of Monster Hunter World, so I know that I think that was well deserved. Now, with best fighting, the winner this year was Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I think, I think that was the right choice. I think this has been the greatest game of the year. You have BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, which is a phenomenal game as well. Soul Calibur 6, and you have Street Fighter 5 Arcade, all great games. But Dragon Ball FighterZ definitely was a much better game, in my experience. This year, I'm playing it. I'm really enjoying it. I really like the mechanics, so that was well deserved. Now, with the best family games, Overcooked 2, which I really don't know much about Overcooked, even one Overcooked 2. It took over Mario Tennis Ace and Nintendo Labo, Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Super Mario Party. I'm very surprised that this game, whatever this game is, Overcooked 2, took over Super Mario Party or Mario Tennis Aces, which in my opinion are much better games. Even Nintendo Labo, which was such a great hype. They had a lot of hype early this year. So I don't know. It's just the way it is. Now, best strategy game, this went Into the Breach, and it took over the Vanner Saga 3 and Valkyria Chronicles 4, which I'm surprised that didn't win. And you had on best sports and racing, you had Forza Horizon 4 as the winner, which in my opinion was well deserved. Took over FIFA 19, Mario Tennis Aces. You got NBA 2K19, Pro Evolution Simulation Soccer. So I think Forza Horizon deserve it. In my opinion, this one is kind of iffy. This competition on this, the best sports racing. I think they should separate into different categories. They should have best sports just for game, that includes anything that has to do with sports, and they should do one just for racing itself, because every year we get a lot of racing games. And of course we have best multiplayer game, and on this one, Fortnite win, which I don't like Fortnite, to be honest with you, but of course, it's such a monster in the industry. People love Fortnite, so it won. Now, they went into more stuff, and they got content creators or streamer of the year, and the winner was Ninja, which if you don't know who Ninja is, then you need to check more videos on YouTube, or you need to go into Twitch and find out who Ninja is. Definitely is a personality nowadays. And of course, they got other stuff, esport events, esport players, and esport teams. So they got all this, right now the esports is the greatest thing, and the biggest thing. So they got winners for those categories as well. So, that was, the competition was great. And besides that, we also have some trailers for we have Devil May Cry 5. We got the reveal of Mortal Kombat 11, which the trailer was sick. Really sick, even for my taste. It got really bloody. We also have Rage 2, also another trailer, which was, I think Rage, people are loving the concept of Rage. Rage 1 was our fan favorite. Rage 2, I think, is going to even be better on that end. We also had a reveal only for the Switch, which I was disappointed. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I love Ultimate Alliance 1 and Ultimate Alliance 2. Play them, on the PS3. I play it on the Xbox 360. I also have it on the PS4. Great games, in my opinion, of last generation. I even played on the regular Xbox, on the original Xbox, and the PS2. But, the 3 one is only for the Switch. But, looking at those graphics, I was just disappointed, because it's such a great game. I'm disappointed, first of all, that it's only coming to the Switch. It already has limitations on its own when it comes about the hardware. But second, the graphics is just, it looks like I've seen better mobile games, with this. So I don't know, it's going to do great. I'm disappointed because, Ultimate Alliance was a fan favorite for me. Love the concept. The fact that it just doesn't look that great, it disappoints me. So that was a disappointment. There were other reveals, so we'll see what's going to happen. Of Persona 5, I think the Joker character from Persona 5 is coming to in this case, the Smash Brothers. Other things happen, I have seen some of the stuff, the excerpts this morning. I haven't really watched the entirety of the whole thing. I'm going to watch it. So there's going to be more reveals. So I'm going to pay attention to everything and the conversations throughout the day. Really, it was an interesting night. To be honest, every Game Awards every year is weird. And that happens in Spike Awards. The Spike Game Awards that happened for over 10 years of the Spike TV before this was separated and, into its own entity and its own thing, that is primarily now the Game Awards and the stream and, through different outlets, supported by different outlets. There's always going to be winners. There's always going to be losers. And there's always going to be, I don't know, that's a sense of that sometimes I feel that the games that really deserve to be there are not there, and the games that deserve to win, don't win. And of course, that has to do with, my personal opinion. I cannot really take or say that my opinion matters more than any other. And of course, there's always going to be that, narrative where people are going to be always in favor and always against. And it's always going to be this animosity between companies and between fans of different, categories. I know a lot of people that are not, particularly people that are not PlayStation supporters. The Xbox fans are going to be very butthurt because it is a game like the game that won God of War. It's not in their streaming. It's just an exclusive game for the PlayStation. It's not on the Xbox. Of course, they get hurt because ultimately, I think, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that crosses all these platforms. So it should be a more inclusive game. So it feels that they got robbed. And I feel that Red Dead Redemption got robbed in the end. Now, it's just a matter of opinion. In the end, it doesn't matter what people say. I think still Rockstar is a winner in the end because their game is making more money, has made more money than God of War. And in the end, it's going to be a fan favorite for years to come, whether it's the game of the year or not. So it's just a matter of perspective. At the end of the day, to me, all these games are great. I still play, Battlefield 5. I play, Black Ops 4. I play, Spider-Man, God of War, Tomb Raider, all these games. So to me, is regardless who wins or who loses, it doesn't really matter. It's always cool to see these winners. It's always cool to see whatever comes new, whatever trailers they have. But this year was okay, in my opinion. It was not the greatest of the reveals on the trailers, and it was not the greatest. And some of these winners were kind of expected. The only turn of events, of course, was that Red Dead Redemption did not win the Game of the Year. But other than that, everything seemed to be kind of expected. And I think there's a push for some indie games, well, that I was not really caring, that I really don't care much about. So it is what it is. So what's your opinion? Did you watch it? Did you get a chance to watch the show, or have you follow into it? Are you happy that God of War won, or are you sad that it did? Are you disappointed that Red Dead Redemption didn't make it to didn't make the cut? Just let me know. Please share your thoughts below, or whatever's your opinion in regards to the matter. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please hit the notification button if you're following me in YouTube. And share this podcast with your friends, so that way we can expand this channel and expand this podcast. And don't forget, check my Patreon account, and if you're able to support this channel in any way possible financially, that will really help me to continue growing this vision of mine. So God bless you, and talk to you again. Have a good weekend.